Okay, should have everybody getting in the room now. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Alexis Fox, and I'm the Marketing and Training Manager for the South Florida SBDC at FIU. And we do have a really great presentation for you all today called Attract, Hire, and Retain, and with winning recruiting strategies for small business success. We will be having this kicked off by our wonderful instructor and consultant, Ms. Kiomara Hidalgo. And we will also have some more information presented for you all throughout the course of this from some of the FIU resources that are available. We do ask that you please subscribe to our newsletter if you are interested in more information about workshops or interested in receiving consulting from the South Florida SBDC. The best way to get all of the updated information is to be subscribed to our newsletter. We also ask that you follow us on social media. This way we can champion your businesses and also help you to promote. Let everybody in your network know that you are attending a workshop with us today by tagging us online, so they know that you're taking the extra steps to better yourself and your business. We are at SBDC at FIU on all social media. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kiomara. She is our HR Human Resources consultant with 20 years experience with global human resources, strategic planning, talent development, and change management at Fortune 500 companies, including the technology, healthcare, education, and retail sectors. She's highly experienced in personnel components and organizational development and mergers, and has received her bachelor's and master's in Science of Human Resource Management right here from FIU. She's also a certified senior professional in human resources. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and allow Kiomara to start the presentation.
Thank you, Alexis. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon with all of you, sharing some information and hopefully some insights that could be very useful for all of you. And you know, in today very competitive landscape and environment, you know, one of the things we always have to do as a business is try to stay abreast of what is happening in the market, and especially when it comes to recruiting. As we see, every day is more challenging to hire talent, to find the right talent, to get the right people for the right roles, and also taking into account that you are also competing with larger organizations for the same talent pool. We also, as we look into the recruitment strategies, one of the things we also have to take into account nowadays, we also have to take into account the generational differences of the different labor forces that we have right now in the market. So right now, companies need to adopt innovative strategies when it comes to recruiting and think about how can you devise and design these strategies to make sure your business is succeeding in the marketplace. So one of the things when it comes to recruiting, recruiting is not a science. It's not an exact science that you could say, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z, it's going to be exactly, I'm going to get this candidate that is going to result meeting X, Y, and Z exactly. Recruiting is more of an art than a science. And basically, there are two processes that involve the recruiting process. One of them is the sourcing of candidates and the assessment of candidates. So these are very important components in order to bring talent into your organization. So how you source your candidates nowadays we have to think in complete different strategies to what we have done in the past, that you would put an advertising or a classify, or you would post a job in any bulletin boards or even job boards online. So nowadays, you have to be more creative when it comes to sourcing candidates. Nowadays, especially in the time of AI, as we see AI is taking over in many areas of the business and the way of life. So it is very critical that we now start getting more innovative, more creative in the way that we bring people into the organization. And there are a lot of components now when it comes to recruiting, because you also have to manage a very high volume of individuals and be able to manage the flow. Recruiting can be a very, very time-consuming task. So one of the things that are now very innovative in the market is the uses of chatbots, utilizing niche job boards for a specific candidates, the skill sets that you're looking for. So it's very critical that you use a specific candidates. Excuse me. So one of the things too is to utilize a lot of video introductions, podcasts. Your company website needs to be a recruiting engine. And this is one of the places that you want to capitalize a lot of this technology. You want to make sure that you have videos talking about your company, making it exciting, and have your company website be more engaging and interactive. Because this is what the talent pool in the market right now is looking for. A more innovative and creative company that it screams that way we are more in line with what is happening in the marketplace, we are more in tune with new generations, we are more in line with technology, and this is very critical nowadays. AI also allow companies to help you manage those processes in terms of you could put and develop assessments or filters to manage the volume of candidates, and at least help you streamline a lot of the processes and steps that you have to take to manage these processes in order to assess candidates' capabilities. So what are some of the methods of innovative recruiting strategies to attract candidates? So as we mentioned earlier, the recruiting process has two steps: the sourcing of the candidates and the assessments of the candidates. And these two parts have to work together. And especially when you're building your pipeline and creating a recruiting flow of candidates. And so we are going to discuss a few kind of out-of-the-box recruiting strategy, like we mentioned earlier, to make sure your job is more attractive to job seekers, and also that you just don't rely solely on your career web page or posting just in Indeed or posting in job boards by themselves alone, but also engaging more in social media platforms that nowadays are also a very important recruiting tool for companies and organizations. And one of the components that have become very prevalent lately is adding a chatbot to your career page in your website. And I know I'm talking a lot of technology elements that right now a number of you may think, okay, but we are a small business, we don't have an IT department, we may not afford this. There are a lot of actually inexpensive solutions right now when it comes to AI and chatbots and managing talent into your websites that are actually very inexpensive right now in the market. There's a number of solutions that are available right now that actually may cost you less than the time that you would have to invest in you yourself screening through a number of volume when it comes to resumes, applications, or even posting, because as I mentioned earlier, recruiting is a very time-intensive process. But it's also one that you need to take very seriously because it can be very costly to hire the wrong person. So it is an investment into your business. The talent that you bring into your organization is going to determine a lot the success of your business, because these people are going to either increase your productivity, make sure they have good interactions with your clients, and help you grow as an organization. So it is an investment into growing your business. Right now, one of the things that you could also explore is those AI-powered chatbots, which can do a lot of the pre-initial screening and making sure that they engage with your applicant pool, that at least your applicants feel that they are getting responses from you and your organization in a timely manner. They can also help you doing those pre-screening, getting through some of those information when it comes to your job posting, create invites for candidates. It's like a virtual assistant that is helping you process and manage your applicant's experience with your organization. And nowadays, that is something that is extremely important. One of the other methods that is being used a lot lately is text recruiting. And I don't know if you have seen some of those messages that, we all get a lot of junk text messages as it is. But actually, some of these can be very successful, believe it or not. And I know many of you may have seen those text messages, unsolicited text messages that sometimes you get, which is, hey, we have this opening that you may have applied or you may be interested, that may match your background, and include a link for the position. Please visit us at our career page and the link to the website. So it's going directly into your candidate pools or soliciting applicants to come into applying for your jobs and what you're looking for. And a lot of these are actually very inexpensive solutions that are software that manages all of those text messages that are sent via recruiting text messages that are sent to applicants in the market. And we are conscious, and you have to be conscious that obviously not all candidates are going to reply to that because many people see that as spam, as I mentioned earlier. But a number of candidates do actually engage through those. You just have to keep in mind some of the language, how you structure the messages, how you make sure the link, and how you are inviting them to follow up and apply for the job at the organization, and make sure that the message does look legit, because right now I think all of us can get tired of the number of spam emails that we all receive and messages. But this is something that is being used very prevalent in the market right now, and I'm sure a number of you may have seen these text messages in your inbox. The other component that is being used quite frequently right now is utilizing those virtual reality posting, basically giving the candidate an overview of what the job in itself is. So people get an idea, okay, this is what I'm going to walk into. And you also have like a walkthrough, a virtual tour of your organization. And for a lot of people, and especially nowadays, remember, a lot of people are in either remote or applied remote, even though the job may be on site, but they at least want to have a feeling for the place they are going to before they decide to apply into the organization. So this gives the opportunity to prospective candidates to have an overview of what the job entails, and also an overview of your organization. The other component that we also have to keep into account is, for example, is those niche job boards. Many of us automatically always post jobs in Indeed, LinkedIn, if you're looking some professional level roles, SIP recruiters, any of those typical job boards. But usually what I would recommend, depending on the position, Indeed is okay for some administrative role or some low-level roles. But when it comes to specialized jobs, for example, you're looking for master electricians or the likes, people in the trades, you may want to rather focus on job boards that are for the industry. There are specific organizations and networking associations, for example, the associations of engineers or general contractors. All of those specialized websites that are intended to bring together individuals in the profession, they have a career link. And that career link allows for employers to post position, which usually those websites are only visited by individual in the area. So you're already tapping into a captive audience of individuals who are within the area that you're looking for. And that is true for every profession. That is true for accountants. That is true for human resources, for marketing, for a number of professions that they have a specific job boards that are specialized for the profession and where individuals typically network with each other. And those are more effective when it comes to hiring a specific skill set for a specific role. So where you post your position definitely influences who apply for those jobs. And obviously you want to do those only for those roles that are specialized or that you require a specific skill set. And you're looking for those individuals with those specific competencies. And believe it or not, still those job fairs, they do yield results. Hosting recruiting events, you could do those universities, you could do those on community events, but also you could do it at your workplace. In-person recruiting is one of those that allows people to get a look and feel for the business. Nowadays, many of those events are done in a hybrid mode. Basically, you have an on-site event ongoing and a Zoom or other platform virtual application going at the same time, so people can join from multiple places, and you could have a more attended and successful event. So those type of events are still very successful because people, when they go to that, is because they are genuinely interested in the business and in the position. And that's important because nowadays sometimes you get many people who apply and then they don't show up to interviews and the like. But when people take the time to actually go into an event, the likelihood of them following through with the process is actually significantly higher. And you can never discount still your employee referral program. They are still very efficient, and depending on the type of job, it still is one of the most effective way to bring people into the company. And especially in a lot of those blue-collar jobs, it is very critical because people at least are very careful nowadays who they refer to their workplace. So when they are bringing you referrals, the person has a very high chance to fit with your company culture, which is very important that the individuals that you're bringing into the business and the organization actually fit the culture of the business, because you don't want somebody that can become a disruptive force into the organization or is not a good fit and then becomes a distraction for you and for the rest of the staff. One of the things that you could also do is create intro videos. You can record those and place them in your website. So it's a way for you as a business owner to say, hey, these are my values, these are my views, this is how I feel about the business. It is a good opportunity to create a very positive outlook. And remember, applicants also are customers and consumers. So it creates a goodwill and also a good opportunity for you to engage with prospective candidates and also to showcase your company culture. So people, and especially now the new generations, they are more attracted to the company culture than the name of the company. Whatever the vision and the culture that the company portrays and how embracing of more technology or more inclusivity, anything that is more attractive to millennials and Gen Z right now to hire, and those are the two upcoming generations into the workforce. It is, we have to work within what it is attractive to them to bring them into the organization, and having those introduction videos in your website, it is very important, and it's something that actually works really well in today's recruiting strategy. One of the other elements, and this may be a little more require a bit more of technological components, is gamification. That is being used actually quite frequently nowadays. And basically, it is creating like a video game of the job role that the individuals are going to be doing, but it allows you to actually assess their capability in an indirect ways. And there are a number of tools of these that are sold in the market nowadays, and that can be actually incorporated into your website, into your internal systems if you have one, or have it as a standalone process for you just to be able to engage and use this type of technology. But it's one of those that are very useful to actually test people's capabilities in an indirect way, and to engage and keep especially as we mentioned earlier, the new generation are more attracted to this type of recruiting strategies, because it tells them that the company culture is that of innovation, and people always want to be part of a company that they feel progressive, innovative, and that they always are open to improving and bringing in new technology into the organization. And for more of them, as we can see the statistic, actually over 78% of candidates are more attracted to company that have some sort of more updated, more technology-driven, more gamification involved into the recruiting process. They find them more desirable for the things that we mentioned earlier, because it talks about the company culture of innovation and progressiveness in terms of moving forward with technology. And one of the things is that, it's not just a video game. And I know some of you may think, oh, so we're just going to create a video game. No. It's an actual problem-solving video game solution to address some of the challenges that you may have into the organization, or that you need this role to be either highly involved or have the ability for them to show their problem solving and communication capabilities in a way that is easier for you to gauge without people being able to just portray something that they are not. Because at the end of the day, it is an assessment built on with a lot of the psychometrics that are built into other programs that were more traditional in the past that used to be a test. So nowadays it's done in a form of a video game, but it's actually testing with a bigger accuracy the problem-solving capabilities of the individual. It's a way to see also the creativity of the person, and depending on the role. For example, if you're bringing somebody into a marketing role, you want to make sure that person can be very creative and create strategies that can put your business ahead and in a more competitive environment. So the person needs to demonstrate their ability to be really creative and be able to solve situations or challenges that the business may be facing today, and you want to be able to see that. So when it comes to that, we have talked about some of the strategies, the things that companies are doing. Small, medium, and large are doing these things. Right now, these are technologies that have become very inexpensive in the market. There's a number of providers out there that you could Google a number of things and you can get a number of solutions, but also a lot of traditional providers like your payroll provider, believe it or not, your ADP, your Paychex, your Paycor, they all also have and offer some of these technologies that you can link into the solution and your payroll system, because it's something that they have had to do to stay relevant in the marketplace. So it is a way that allows you to widen your talent pool, and also allows you to target passive candidates. And passive candidates are very desirable for organization. And the reason is because at the very least, these individuals tend to be more straightforward into their capabilities because they already have a job. They are not in a desperate search. So for the most part, they tend to be more truthful in terms of their resume, in terms of their capabilities, and you can have a more straightforward conversation regarding what is it that they actually do today. And one of the things that are very critical also when it comes to attracting and recruiting is your employer branding. Creating that brand awareness, that brand recognition, it is very, very important because people want to be associated with companies that are known in the community for be either a good employer, a good a company that is a good corporate citizens in the community, that it has a lot of goodwill in the way they interact in the community. You don't have to be a big organization or have complex benefits or policies, but where you operate, that in your community, people want to be associated with companies that have good name recognition in the community. And one of your brand recognition, and this is where having some of your marketing strategy in place, because this is a marketing strategy, will help you attract in a more efficient way candidates and to hire people that can identify closer to your mission, vision, and values as a company, and also allow you to be more effective in the way that you assess your candidates, even when you ask them about why do you think you are a good match for the organization? You want to also make sure that they are a good match for the company culture. Because remember, that hire is either going to be your blessing or your headache. But there's a real cost associated when you hire the wrong individual. At the very least, it takes you the time and money to post and interview and hire the individual. Then the productivity cost, the training cost, and the time it takes you to realize that you brought in the wrong individual and you have paid salaries for a couple of months already for somebody that was not the right hire. So it is important that you prepare yourself properly for the interview process for the individual, that you actually read the job description, and that your interview questions are really targeted and related to assessing the capabilities that the individual needs to bring to be able to perform that job successfully. And I know sometimes we're running, we're busy, we don't have enough time, but think about the cost of hiring the wrong individual in terms of money, time, investment, and sometimes impact to the morale of other employees. So we also have to take into account that candidates' expectations are also shifting. And we mentioned earlier the specialized job boards, the personal networks like LinkedIn and the likes. So people want to be met where their interests are. And, we mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, we have a number of candidates nowadays using also AI. We have heard stories of ChatGPT writing resumes and people presenting you resumes that when you look at it and you sit with the person for the interview, you see some mismatches. That's why it's so important that that job description is accurate, that the job description really outline the skill set needed for that job, because that's also going to be your tool to performance management. And we have seen nowadays, we hear the stories in terms of misrepresentation, and people lying through the interviews. And it's something that unfortunately is the reality that we're dealing with today. I mean, that there has been throughout history that has happened, but not at the level that is happening nowadays. So it becomes more prevalent. Also, that we use technology to be able to weed out some of that, and also to be able to assess the real capabilities of the individuals, because there's more creativity now in terms of how that is handled. But also that we are responsive. When you talk to candidates, one of the biggest frustration for candidates is that they never heard back from the company. There's not even an acknowledgement that they received their application or resume. And that creates a really bad vibe and reputation for the company. And people post everything in social media nowadays. Any bad experience that they have, you go and you'll see your name trending not in the positive light. So you want to avoid those things by making sure, and this is where those chatbots and AI aided tools are very critical to help you manage the volume and help you at least send messages and acknowledge the candidate and establish some form of communication without you having to personally manage the volume, because, let's face it, who has the amount of resources to have constantly being responding to the number of individuals that comes through your platform on a daily basis. And I mentioned earlier the focus on attracting the passive candidates, and some of the reasons they are not they tend to be more truthful in terms of the resume because they are gainfully employed. So they don't need to be that creative when it comes to their skill set and their current roles and capabilities. So, and it's a way for, that doesn't mean that, interviewing people without a job is wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. And obviously the market moves a lot and many people sometimes find themselves unemployed through no fault of their own. We see movements, company downsizing, right-sizing, or outsourcing positions. So that's a normal movement of people nowadays. And you have to navigate through all of that and be able to weed out, okay, out of all of this, can the individual really do the job? Does the person really have the skill set? And that's where those assessments become so critical. So when we look at this, because I'm conscious of time and I want to leave time for questions, but also we have Martha from the Career Services at FIU that is also going to be helping you to understand how you can actually hire and recruit students directly from FIU Career Services and how can they support you through the process of posting your positions and helping you get candidates directly out of the universities. So these are a couple of takeaways for you in terms of how to recruit, how to manage the candidate experience, and also to ensure that you keep abreast of technology and that the traditional just posting a job board and asking what are your ambition in the next 5 years questions are not longer the way to attract and retain the best talent. And you also have to use technology to manage the candidates' use of technology like ChatGPT to be more creative in terms of the resume development and writing. So this presentation, I want to leave time for Martha to give you some information and for question and answer. This presentation is going to be shared with all of you. I put a lot of information in there because it is intended to become a handout for you. So you have a lot of things that you can refer to. And always, if you register with us at the SBDC, you could have access to one-on-one consulting session with me to discuss whatever area you would like about this or human resources in general. And there is no cost associated for you to join the SBDC. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Martha from Career Services to continue with the presentation about career services.
Thank you so much, Kiomara. And as Martha is getting ready to present, again, we do encourage you all to please ask your questions using the Q&A feature. Martha is going to be presenting some information to you all. She's going to share her screen. So also any of the documentation that she is presenting will also be provided to you at the end of this workshop. Martha, are you good to go? You have your screen up? Perfect.
Can you see the full screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, because it doesn't look like a full screen for me. I'm going to put a timer and I'm going to try and be respectful of the time. I have 15 minutes down. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Martha Rosa. I'm the program manager for FIU Employer Engagement, excuse me. So with Career and Talent Development, we work with our employers in our community and outside of the state of Florida to bring opportunities to our students and to help our employers develop their opportunities. As Kiomara said, it's all that background before you come to us as well. We are that pipeline from university students and alumni to our employers. I'm going to share the presentation with Alexis, right? Did I say it wrong? Okay, thank you. I said it right. So I'll share the presentation, but here's my contact information. So you, at the end of this, I'll share it again. You are always welcome to reach out to me. I know these are brief meetings or sessions, so there's a lot more content that I cannot cover in the time that we have, but I will do my best to summarize. See if this lets me move to my next screen. Okay, so most universities in the state of Florida, including FIU, we're presently using a system called Handshake. Handshake is a comprehensive system that allows you to post to the university jobs and opportunities and internships and experiential learning, as well as events, on-campus recruitment, attending our events like our career fairs, or creating an information session. So this is a wonderful, comprehensive way where you can access our students. It also goes to our alumni who are registered with our system. All FIU students are mandated to create an account with Handshake once they come to FIU. It's part of their SLS, and it's part, which is their first, one of the first courses they're required to complete during the first year. And then we have a hold on their accounts to make sure they've created their accounts, because it is imperative for us to make sure that our students are being connected and having that access to career services so that we can help get them where they need to, get them connected, and to prepare them. Because the classwork is important. We want that to be a piece, but if our students don't know the first steps, our job is to help prepare them. So our hope is to give you students and alumni who are ready in other facets, just outside, not just outside of their learning. It is less than 5 minutes to create your account, and it is a free system. Let me add that. But it gives you access to our university and other universities that you may be interested, but hopefully FIU. And I hope I have alumni on this, this session. We love it when our alumni come back. So like I said, we're preparing our students. We make sure that we're giving them workshops that are career developmental, so preparing them for the professional world. We do career assessments, MBTI, strengths, and some other ones to help make sure our students are in fact aligned from their interests and how their majors complement them. So some students may think they want to go into teaching, but these career assessments really show, hey, this may not be the area for you. It may be going an administrative route. So it really helps kind of bring it all together for them, especially if they have any doubts and concerns. We have one-on-one career advisement where they can sit down with our advisors to kind of, again, have those conversations. AI is a big part of today. Since we have over 60,000 students, we do utilize a system to help prepare them as well as they create their resumes. When it doesn't function for them, or there's an inability to use our system for whatever reason, we do have them come into campus, into the offices to help them. We teach them how to network, how to negotiate their salaries, how to do interviews, because some of our students are brand new, first generation students who've never been put in this position. So we do help prepare them so that they know how to meet you and how to get connected. Job search strategies, how to utilize our system, and other methods, including LinkedIn, to find you. All of these are pieces that we make sure we incorporate in our meeting with our students. One big push we have is internship programming. So many people might have full-time opportunities right now, but internship programming is an enormous way to create a pipeline. This is where our employers create experiential experiences. The idea is to teach our students, like to translate those skills taught in classroom to the actual world. So seeing them, applying them, giving them opportunities to really expand on their experiences, but in an educational, professional work experience. I hope that makes sense. So our students, if they're brand new in this, the idea is the internship becomes a pipeline because you've taught them and you've created the programming for them to hopefully love, learn, and want to stay with your company. So it's a nice full round experience. You're contributing to the community by helping these students learn and apply it to the real world, but you're creating a pipeline so our students can hopefully find you as number one, attractive. So some of the benefits I just touched on, year-round recruitment tool. We ask for summer, spring, fall internships. There's some smaller, more intimate internships that are a semester or the entire academic year. Some are just a few months. So there are a variety of options. Usually they're project-based, but they do not have to be project-based. They could be a lot more intensive. The benefit is where our students bring fresh ideas, new perspectives. They're learning what is a necessity for today, those next models, those next technologies and how they can be applied. So it's a really big win-win to diversify your employment, your community of employees. It's a developmental opportunities because you may have individuals who are ready to start supervising, but you don't have the role for them to become a manager. This is a good idea for them to also feel like they're being recognized as leaders. Future hiring advantage and being cost effective is definitely a great component. We do ask that you be competitive. We do ask that you pay our interns, but there is a reasonable amount, which would obviously be a cost saving. We do not approve unpaid internships that are full-time because that would go against the FLSA, and we can always talk about that sidebar. We host on-campus opportunities where you can meet our students. They're tailored for event planning. So we have internship week. This is free to participate. I want to say 99%, 95% of our events are free. There are a few like our career fair and those who want to host specialized events like our dining etiquette. But a good percentage of our events are free. Internship week is an entire week dedicated to internship programming. We have employers participate in our panels, create workshops, have information sessions, engage with our students throughout that week. We high promote. This is a highly marketed event, and it's hosted in one of our most tracked areas by our students. It's in the Graham Center, which is similar to a student union area. Let me see. Okay. Our Panther Shadows, this is one of my most favorite programs. It is one of my baby programs from many, many years ago. And the purpose of this Shadows, it's a one-day opportunity, 2 days, depending on the commitment you can make. It could even be a half-day opportunity where students come out to your work site to meet, to network, and to see what it's like in the day of a life of someone within that field of interest. We have students, and I always use this example. It's one of my favorite examples. We have students who start off the university saying, I'm going to be an elementary school teacher. This is what I want to do. And they go through the program and they think they like it. The day they step into that shadow, they might be overwhelmed. They might be excited. They may love the location they're at. They may realize what area they want to focus on. Like they may want to focus on the maths, on the sciences, on the arts. So the Shadows is really an opportunity for our students to really connect and see what it's like, but it serves for employers to become a pipeline. We had a big employer, Sherwin-Williams, come out. They shuttled our students to their sites. They had a 2-day program, and our students committed to those 2 days. And there was opportunities for internship programming at the end of it. Our employers met those students and they're like, this is the connection. This is perfect. So it becomes a pipeline. Students who came back and didn't get the opportunity started speaking to their peers in the university. Hey, I'm not really for this field, but have you thought about Sherwin-Williams? Have you thought about this? So it really becomes an excellent networking experience. It is free to participate. It is just on you to make accommodations, whether it's feeding them lunch or having a breakfast or paying for the valet for their parking. We do not ask employers to pay our students for their time, and it should not be where the students are working. They are simply shadowing, seeing the day of, meeting your administrative people. So it's just really a good way to connect and continue that branding and that pipeline. I really went over this, but it'll give you an opportunity to give an orientation about your company so they can know who you are. You can network with breakfast and lunch, or simply just have a networking session alone. Some employers have told the students to bring their own lunch, so it would not be unheard of if you really are going complete cost savings, but a touch is always nice. This is informal interviews. You would be giving them guided tour, the facilities and the offices, and meet and greets. And we would help you formulate that program. So you're not on your own. If you decide, I want to participate in this, but I don't know the first thing about doing it, we are there to serve you as well in that capacity. We do have fall shadow dates already scheduled. So if you already thinking that this might be something interesting to you, They're for December 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. We chose those dates because it's commencement week. So our senior students are already on the graduation stuff and the experiences, and our junior sophomores are gearing up to go on break, but they're also hopefully connecting with these opportunities. But we also offer flex. We are aware that some of our employers cannot function within the constraints of this timeline because of staffing or access to executive staff. So we are flexible. It's just a little bit harder to market those dates because, again, this is all marketed to our students. Some of our fall programming coming up that we encourage our employers to participate are career fair. Our career fair is hosted in our Ocean Bank Arena. I believe that's what it's called currently. And it's open to all students. We have about over 3,000 students enter through this event. It is a walkthrough where they get to meet employers. We advertise who's coming. It is one of our paid events. So there is a fee associated. There is a dining etiquette where you're welcome to host an opportunity to teach our students dining experiences, like how they should be dining with an employer meeting. But you're also advertising your company. You're having those points of touch. You're allowed to have an individual from your company sitting at each table and hopefully bringing in those students back to you. We have the Career Expo on our Biscayne Bay campus, which is a more intimate career fair on the northern side of our city. Graduate School Fair, though I don't think anyone here might be fitting in that space. We ask for our employers to connect with our students in other methods, like our Resume Fest. That's where we have employers come onto campus and help critique students' resumes. But it's not that simple alone. When we have those employers come on campus to do that, they're actually physically seeing resumes of students who are going to be in their interest area. So while you're critiquing them, it gives you a chance to say, wow, this person is up my alley. Panther Shadows I touched. We allow employers to co-host our workshops. So if you want natural branding that's already in place, you can set up with one of our career advisors and co-present and highlight your company and the opportunities. We have panel events throughout the year that we do invite our employers, but you have to be on Handshake because that's where we advertise this. We have other events, information sessions, tabling, Instagram takeovers, and employer spotlights. Our goal is to get you in front of our students. Our goal is to get you students who are qualified, eager, and hungry. Our alumni as well. We're eager to get our alumni connected to those fields that they're interested, to those companies that serve them, that they can serve back. That's a bit of what we do. It's a lot longer, but that's my most condensed version. And I have exactly 1 minute left on my time. So I was honest to my time. I'm happy to answer any questions. So if anyone wants to ask, I'm an open book. Nothing for today.
Thank you so much, Martha and Kiomara. Again, if you all do have questions, I do encourage you to please take advantage of the opportunity to ask them now. Between Kiomara's presentation and the information that Martha shared, it's a lot of information and really good resources for you all to be utilizing. So if you do have any questions, you can ask them in the Q&A function, and we'll give a few minutes for that.
Did we have any alumni? I'm curious. No alumni? Well, we love you all. In our career office, our career and talent development, we are eager to work with you, even if you're not an alumni. So
Thank you so much. And before you all leave, please remember that if you want to attend other workshops like this one, whether virtually or in person, you can do so through our newsletter. We promote all of our upcoming workshops in our newsletter as well as on social media. And before I let you all go, I would like for you all to take a quick survey. We need to know how we did today. We had two very impressive guests, full of information and resources. So please take a moment to do the poll before you leave. We want to make sure that the information that we're presenting is useful to you as your business owners. And we know that your time is precious. So we thank you for spending it with us. And we would love your feedback. So if you have a moment, it's just 5 questions to go ahead and take that. And again, Martha and Kiomara are available right now for the next 5 minutes if you do have any questions for them. If not, all of their contact information will be submitted to you via email after this workshop, so you will have access as well. And I believe Martha shared her information in the chat also. Yes, okay. Okay. Okay, well, if there are no further questions and if you've taken the survey, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you all on the next webinar. Andresa has put it in the chat. We do have an in-person webinar, or in-person workshop, I'm sorry, on August 15th at 10 a.m. at the Doral Government Center. It's going to have a lot of insights for financing your business. So if you are currently looking for financing, if you're interested in lender and loan information or grant funding, that is a great workshop to attend. It is instructed by Lillian, who is one of our finance consultants here at the SBDC as well. Thank you again, Martha and to Kiomara. We so appreciate your time. And there was a really amazing information shared today.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.